I've been eating so much granola recently that it's almost becoming a problem. Once I found out how easy it is to make, I can't stop myself from making it. And you can flavor it any way you like. I'm going to show you how to do cinnamon raisin granola, double chocolate granola, and peanut butter protein cluster granola. You can be like me and eat it plain, or turn it into a parfait, eat it like cereal, or pair it with an apple and some yogurt. I can't stop myself from eating a little bit every time I walk into my kitchen. A quick shout out to Zwilling and their new Fresh and Save Cube dry storage system for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into it, and first, talk a little bit of cheddar. The cinnamon raisin and double chocolate granolas are going to cost roughly the same, with the peanut butter protein cluster being slightly higher because the protein powder is an expensive ingredient. The ingredient cost for the cinnamon raisin granola is about $6.37, or roughly 64 cents per serving. The double chocolate granola came in slightly cheaper at an ingredient cost of $6.32, or about 63 cents per serving. The peanut butter protein cluster granola had an ingredient cost of $7.60, or 76 cents per serving. I do a lot of my shopping at Costco, so I've got big tubs and containers of all these ingredients. That increases the total food cost, but because of economies of scale, it makes it cheaper on a per gram basis. All the ingredients for the cinnamon raisin and double chocolate granolas cost me about $63.58 from Costco and H-E-B, and then the protein powder for the final one was about $33 extra. If you were to buy standard sizes from a normal grocery store, about $21.54 would be the food cost not counting the protein powder. All three of these granolas are going to follow the same base recipe of equal parts oats, fat, and maple syrup. So you can take that base and flavor it any way you like. We're going to start with a cinnamon raisin granola. Place a microwave safe bowl over a digital scale, and for this first granola recipe, we're going to use peanut butter as our fat source. Into the bowl, measure out a half of a cup or 132 grams of peanut butter, a half of a cup or 120 grams of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of vanilla. Here's a question for you. How is it 2023 and nobody's invented a vanilla container where you pour some into a bowl and half the bottle doesn't run down the side? Somebody fix it. Take that bowl and microwave it for about 30 seconds just to heat things up and make them dance a little bit easier with each other. Then add in 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of cinnamon and a half of a teaspoon or 3 grams of salt. Mix the contents of that bowl together until everything is well combined. Next, place a large bowl on the scale and to it add 4 cups or 320 grams of rolled oats. Dump in the peanut butter and maple syrup mixture and get to stirring. At this step, you can also add in any nuts or seeds if you wish. Not for me though, nothing fancy going on here. I like my granola like I like my football. Nothing too cute, just run the damn ball. Keep mixing the peanut butter and maple syrup into the oats until everything is well covered. Lay out a sheet pan, line it with some parchment paper, and dump the oats into the center. Spread them out into a layer of about a half an inch in thickness. Keep it together in one big bunch. If you have any stragglers that are outside this bunch, they're going to be more prone to burning. Move this to the oven at 350 Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius for about 20 minutes. After 10 minutes, if you remove the tray from the oven and press the granola with the back of a spatula, it can help to create bigger clumps in the final product. If you don't care for this, just leave it in the oven for the full 20 minutes. After those 20 minutes, you should have some browning around the edges and it should be firm to the touch in the center. Give this a chance to completely cool to room temperature before you break it up or throw in any additions. As it cools, it will harden further to give you that classical granola texture. Then you can break it up into as small or big of pieces as you would like. Once it has completely cooled, add in 3/4 of a cup or 120 grams of raisins. Mix them in and this one is ready to go. Next, I wanted to obtain a final weight for my granola, so I placed one of my Zwilling cube containers over a scale and poured the granola inside. One of the nice things about using parchment paper is that you can pick it all up at once and funnel it into your container. This almost ended in catastrophe for me with granola all over my kitchen, but luckily for me, I have the hand-eye coordination of a 7-year-old Chinese table tennis prodigy. Once I fit it all in the container, I threw on the lid and then used my vacuum pump to suck out all of the air. The depressed nipple on top tells me I have an airtight seal, and this should last in my pantry for weeks. My total yield was 640 grams, so if I split that into 10 64-gram servings, the nutritional estimations are about 280 calories, 42.5 grams of carbs, 7.5 grams of protein, and 8.9 grams of fat. Now on to the double dark chocolate granola. We're using coconut oil in this one, so to a bowl add a half of a cup or 120 grams of coconut oil, a half of a cup or 120 grams of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of vanilla. Move that to the microwave to melt the coconut oil and loosen up the syrup, stir it together, and add in 3 tablespoons or 15 grams of dark chocolate cocoa powder and 1/2 of a teaspoon or 3 grams of salt. Carefully stir that cocoa powder and salt into the syrup and oil. Once it's mixed into a large bowl, add 4 cups or 320 grams of oats and dump in the chocolate, oil, and maple syrup mixture. Mix everything together until all the oats are completely coated, and then the process from here remains the same as before. Dump it out onto a parchment-lined sheet pan, press it into a 1/2 inch thick layer, and then bake it at 350 Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius for 20 minutes. Again, when you pull it from the oven, it should be slightly firm to the touch in the center, and you need to let this cool to room temperature completely before you add in the chocolate chips, otherwise they're going to melt and create a soupy mess. Break up the granola using your hands to get clumps of your desired size, and then add in 1/2 of a cup or 96 grams of mini dark chocolate chips. Combine the granola and chocolate chips together and then transfer it into a storage container and obtain a final weight. I yielded 620 grams, and if you split that into 10 62-gram servings, the nutritional estimations are about 321 calories, 36.2 grams of carbs, 5.3 grams of protein, and 17.2 grams of fat. This stuff is incredibly addicting and very rich. That's what a 1/2 cup of coconut oil and chocolate chips will do for you. If you wanted to make this more macro-friendly, you could swap the coconut oil for peanut butter, or just use less coconut oil and chocolate chips. And last but not least, we have our peanut butter protein cluster granola. Same as before, 1/2 cup or 132 grams of peanut butter, 1/2 of a cup or 120 grams of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of vanilla extract. Microwave that for 30 seconds to loosen everything up and pour it into a large bowl, followed by 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of cinnamon, 1/2 of a teaspoon or 3 grams of salt, and 2 scoops or 60 grams of protein powder. I used a scent vanilla plant-based protein powder here, but whey would work as well. Mix everything together until well combined, and then you can pour in 4 cups or 320 grams of rolled oats. It will be a bit tougher to get these oats combined because the mixture is thicker from the protein powder, but keep working it and eventually it will get there. Once again, grab a sheet pan and line it with some parchment paper, dump your granola on top, spread it out into a layer of a 1/2 inch in thickness, and then bake it at 350 Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius for 20 minutes. Pull it from the oven, make sure it's slightly firm to the touch in the center, let it cool to room temperature, and then break it up into pieces of sizes of your liking. Then for a third time, I transferred it into one of my Zwilling cube containers over a scale to obtain a final weight. I didn't add any mix-ins to this one, so my final yield was a bit lighter at 575 grams, and if you split that into 10 57.5 gram servings, each one has about 264 calories with 33.7 grams of carbs, 11.4 grams of protein, and 9.3 grams of fat. You guys who watch my videos know that the Zwilling Fresh and Save vacuum system is how I store all of my snacks. Last month, they released the Fresh and Save Cube Collection for dry storage, which is perfect for things like this granola. The airtight lids can be vacuum sealed to keep out moisture and air and preserve freshness, flavor, and texture. Nearly all the stuff I make for Snack City is not shelf stable and it goes in the freezer, so for that I use the Fresh and Save vacuum seal bags. The Zwilling Fresh and Save vacuum starter set is what I have. It comes with a couple glass containers and vacuum seal bags, and if you're from the US and use the code MEALPREP at checkout, you'll get 10 extra medium bags for free. If you've already got the vacuum set and you want to upgrade your dry storage systems, give a look to the Cube Collection. Links will be down below in the description. Shout out to Zwilling for sponsoring the video. I'm guessing the majority of you are not going to make all 3 of these granolas at once, and why would you? You really only need 1 at a time. Whatever you do, make sure you get a final total weight of your granola, divide that number by 10, and whatever that is equal to is 1 serving. Again, for me that was 64 grams of the cinnamon raisin, 62 grams of the double dark chocolate, and 57.5 grams of the peanut butter protein cluster. Here's 3 ideas of what you can do with a granola if you don't want to eat it plain. Cut up an apple, add some yogurt, drizzle over some honey for sweetness, and add in the cinnamon raisin granola for some crunch. This is one of my all-time favorite snacks. I believe I said it in a video a couple weeks ago, but I've had some variation of this over 1,000 times in the past 5 years. Idea number 2, eat it as cereal. The double chocolate granola is S tier as a cereal. It is insanely palatable. That being said, I'm still doing my dairy-free experiment, and dude, almond milk is a disgrace to all things holy on this planet. It is so disgustingly bad. How does anybody drink this? I am counting down the days until that sweet, sweet nectar from the udder of a cow is back into my life. And lastly, idea number 3, a yogurt parfait. Take a tub of Greek yogurt, drizzle over some honey for sweetness, pour in some of the peanut butter protein cluster granola, and add in any berries or fruit to your liking. With the Greek yogurt and granola, this will give you a pretty decent sized dose of protein. I think it should go without saying, granola is inherently not a low-calorie food. On the plus side of that, its hyperpalatability and energy density make it a great choice for if you're trying to gain weight or muscle. It's easy calories. So the next time you want a little something sweet, give one of these granolas a try. If you liked this video, check out these other 2 on the screen now for more Snack City recipes. See you next time.